Hey everyone, Soundwave8084 here with the Transformers comparison review. In this comparison review, I'm going to take a look at the new Transformers Studio Series 86 Grimlock. This Grimlock is based on the 86 Transformers animated movie, or you can just say based off the G1 cartoon. He does come with a little wheelie who can ride him in dinosaur mode and sit on his shoulder in robot mode. Now, wheelie is just pretty much an accessory, not really an actual Transformers figure, because he's like an Action Master. It does not convert. I'm just showing it off because it does come with the figure. You also get his gun here, and which does support blast effects on either one of these. So that's what you get with this Grimlock when you buy it straight out of the package. It is a leader class figure, and he is bigger than, let's say, the Siege leader classes. He is bigger than the Ultra Magnus, and we're going to compare him with that Ultra Magnus and everything coming up in this video. I just want to show you how he stacks up and how he's going to slide into your collection. This isn't a full-on one figure review. I've done these videos in the past with like Jetfire, Siege Jetfire, Siege Omega, and maybe a few other ones. So pretty much I'm just going to show you how he compares with past generations lines of Grimlock. I don't have the old classics version anymore, but that's a deluxe figure. There's no way it's going to scale with this. But I do have the Power of the Primes Grimlock. I do have the, I think it's Black Mamba, the B&B Oversized Grimlock based on the Power of the Primes mold. And I do have the first Masterpiece Grimlock. I know it's going to be a little bit bigger than this, but I'm just going to show you how this would compare to that. Because I was using the Masterpiece Grimlock and left as my chug stand-in. Because in dinosaur mode, he kind of scales. He's a little large, but it fits because usually in the cartoon they portrayed him in dinosaur mode to be really big, really huge. So it kind of fit. Robot mode was way too big, so that's why I always just left him in dinosaur mode for that. So I will show you that comparison there as well. I'm not going to compare with anything else like Fans Toys and stuff like that, because that is a totally different scale and is not going to really be comparable with this figure here. So this is him in dinosaur mode. This is a wheelie right here. Like I said, afterthought, he does have some ball joints here in the hips and the shoulders, and the head is on a ball joint. You can move it around 360 and all that. And he does have a mushroom peg swivel waist here. He does stand like this, and that's like the best like Dreamwave Comics pose. They always drew him like they were trying to squat onto the toilet or something. There you go. So he can stand. He is a bit waffly in the legs and arms. Like I said, he's more like an afterthought. He's just going to sit on the back, so you're not really going to, when he sits on the back of him in dinosaur mode, you're not going to see the waffles here, but you will see it in his arms. But again, it is just an accessory, something cool to reenact a scene from the 86 movie. Yes, Grimlock does have a peg inside his mouth where you can insert a blast effect to get the fire breathing effect from your Grimlock. Alright, so there he is next to his G1 animation model, which is what the animators are used for Transformers the movie in 1986, which is what this figure is based off of. Alright, bringing in Power of the Primes. I don't even know why I brought this guy out to do this, but I'm sure someone might have asked in the comments why didn't you do the Power of the Primes. Because that is a Voyager class figure, and in no way is going to really compare with this. This figure is a leader class, and is going to be a lot larger than this Power of the Primes. And I forgot how small these guys really are when I pulled them out of storage. He's just in a little box. But that's a comparison there, so you can see how the Power of the Primes actually compares in the Voyager scale with a leader scale nowadays of Grimlock. And here he is next to the B&B Oversized Grimlock. This is based on the Power of the Primes mold, but they oversized it, added a few more things to it, and just to give it a little more heft, a little more heftier than the other one would be. And honestly, when you pick the two up together, he feels like he weighs more, like he's heftier. On the scale, this Grimlock his Grimlock weighs 11 ounces. This Grimlock weighs 10.4 ounces. So you're still getting more heft out of the new Studio Series, even though this one feels heavier in my hands. I think it's because he's just smaller and a little more compact. This way the weight is dispersed on this figure here. I always thought this was a nice Grimlock in dinosaur mode. I didn't really like the tail as much because this is kind of weird looking in the back of the figure. But this one here, I mean, it's still very wide. But hey, that was Grimlock. It looks really good though. So this is a comparison. The new Studio Series is taller in dinosaur mode. And just looks a little more, I say impressive. He looks more like he should, like he came out of the G1 cartoon. And just in case you thought you could go ahead and slide in your other B&B Dinobots with this Grimlock, this is Sludge from the B&B series of an oversized figure from the Power of the Prime Sludge. Now those were deluxes back then. This here is now a Voyager scale, so it is still way, way too small. So even they can't really slide in, especially in dinosaur mode. We'll look at the robot modes when we get to that, but even then, you already know they're not really going to scale. But according to Hasbro, we're supposed to get all the Dinobots in Studio Series, at least the ones that appeared in the slag. I think Slag is next with Daniel. And one of the other ones, I think they mentioned Sludge, but there has to be Sludge, Swoop, Slag, and Grimlock, because they're the ones featured in the movie. Snarl was in briefly, but come on, you can't make all of them and leave out Snarl. They got to do him. And here he is next to the first Masterpiece Grimlock. Even this is a lot larger, and you're going to get way more articulation out of the Masterpiece. But I will have to say that this one is a little more sturdier in this mode. This one has too much weight to try to hold up, and he will kind of tip or just collapse and lose the friction hold here with his legs. But they both look really good in dinosaur mode, and I actually think the Studio Series pulls it off better than the Masterpiece version here. It does. He's a lot taller. But yeah, just he wants to sit backwards. He's got a big fat tail. This one going a little more for the toy styling with the gold and the translucent plastic to see the gold stuff underneath. Whereas this, of course, is going for more of the cartoon look. Now, while leaving him in dinosaur mode, we'll compare him with Siege Ultra Magnus. This shows some scale. Siege Ultra Magnus is taller in this mode here, which I guess would be sort of disappointing. You can straighten him up some to where he is a little more straight up. You'll get a little more height out of your Grimlock that way. So that if he's just standing straight up. You can also, these little tabs here, they can go under that. And that will lock his arms or these legs straight. That way he'll hold his pose better. And you can see now he is more comparable here with Ultra Magnus as well. Pretty much the same height. And we'll now throw in Siege Optimus Prime. This is the cel-shaded version, as you can see. Alright, so here is Grimlock in his robot mode. This is how he comes packaged inside his box. Here we go, we have Studio Series next to the original Masterpiece Grimlock. Honestly, I think the Studio Series is the better of the two by looks in robot mode. Yes, the Masterpiece has gimmicks. You can change the eye colors. You can have light up weapons. Whereas this one does nothing like that. But I think the proportions are better on the Studio Series. I like the head sculpt better on the Studio Series. And I think the waist and legs are better on the Studio Series. And I also like how these shoulders aren't so high up as they are here on the original Masterpiece. And for the people who have the B&B Dinobots, this is your comparison you want to see. B&B Grimlock, Studio Series Grimlock. B&B is probably about almost an inch shorter, probably at least half an inch to 3/4 an inch shorter than Studio Series Grimlock. Of course, Studio Series is going to give you more articulation. You got ankle tilts. You actually have feet. You get some wrist swivels. I don't know if you got that on this one or not. No, I know you didn't get on Power to Prime. It's been a while since I've actually handled this one and actually fiddled with it. You get the red eye band, which is what the Power to Prime has, which I believe is what the toy had. And that, you know, the Masterpiece version I just had up here had the switching visor. You can have red or blue. I like the look of the Studio Series, but side view, back view. Overall, Studio Series just looks really, really good. And why not? Here is the Voyager class, or the other B&B Dinobots. This is Sludge, and this is going to give you your scale here. He's like Voyager class size. It's almost like a bring your kid to work day kind of look here. You got the parent, and you got the kid. Yeah, scale does not work. Next to Siege Ultra Magnus, that scale works, as Grimlock is bigger than Ultra Magnus. You can say maybe they should be same size, so maybe Ultra Magnus is a little bit too small. So let's bring in the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. And that Ultra Magnus there is a little bit bigger than the Studio Series Grimlock. So, for people who are wondering about that scale, this is the scale right here for you. I would say Grimlock should probably be a little bit taller, or that Magnus should be a little bit shorter. Next to Siege Jetfire, if anybody cared about that. He's a little bit taller, comes about right here to the black parts. And honestly, that is to scale with the Sunbow scale chart. And here they are with Siege Optimus Prime. Honestly, they all kind of go with the actual Sunbow scale chart. Prime comes up to about the red pieces. He goes up to about the gray pieces. I think this scale fits. It looks really good. And this is what I'd always wanted out of scale with my Transformers. Alright, so just showing some overall scale here with Studio Series Grimlock. We have our Deluxe Class Earthrise Wheeljack. We have Buzzworthy Bumblebee, which looks more like Bumper in vehicle mode. A Masterpiece Chip Chase. The wheelie that comes with them. A Voyager Class Siege Optimus Prime. A Leader Class Siege Ultra Magnus. And a Commander Class Siege Jetfire. So this is the scaling right here, and I think this scale works. I think everybody's in their place. I think maybe Magnus should be a little bit taller, but honestly I think that scale right there between Prime and Magnus fits, and they always had Grimlock being a lot bigger than Optimus Prime in the early cartoons, so I think this scale here really fits and looks good. Grimlock is always, everybody pictures him as a big brute, and he should be looking like a big brute. Not what we got here with Power of the Primes, because they made them converge for Volcanicus, and I think that's what hurt and hindered the Dinobots. I think they look good. They're fine in comparison to the original G1 toys in size, but to compare with your actual Transformers, if you wanted the Dinobots, you had to wait, or you had to buy the B&Bs, which are still no, the other ones are still too small. Sludge, Slag, Snarl, Swoop, they're all too small because they're all Voyager class Transformers. And really all the Dinobots should pretty much be Leader class size. And except for Swoop, he probably fits right in as being Voyager, I believe. In the scale chart, the holy scale chart we all must follow and obey at all times and worship and pray to. Swoop is, I believe, about the same size as Optimus Prime. I want to say thanks for watching this comparison review. I'll do an actual review of the Grimlock later on, and I'll show the transformation and everything in that review. I just wanted to get this video out to show comparisons with this Grimlock with other Transformers, so you can see it really how he just stacks up. Until the next one, peace out.